buyers are very important to the home buying process. So 40% of all new home buyers are millennials. As you know, or you may not know, the housing industry is worth about $278 billion. 8 out of every 10 referrals that a loan officer gets at his or her desk are denied. Fannie Mae actually did a survey earlier this year, and they found that 18-year-olds to 34-year-olds did not know how much they had to put down as a down payment on a house. They actually thought they needed to put down 16% as a down payment on a house. So that says to us there's a lot of miseducation or no education. We have a lot of denials, which we need to fix fast because, of course, as the housing industry goes, so does the U.S. economy. And then lastly, there's a lot of apathy with first-time home buyers. Some of them have just said, I'm in too much debt, I'm not even going to purchase a home. So how do we rectify this? Well, my name is Sandra Wilson. I am president and CEO of Wealthbuilders Connection, and I've got a great idea for you. When I was a loan officer, I used to have to deny about 80% of the loans coming across my desk. I used to have to educate people about the home finance process. As a loan officer, I don't really have time to do that. I need to be churning loans each and every day. So, what did I do with these 80% that I had to deny? I did what my branch manager asked me to do. Put them in a trusty CRM and touch them continuously with a really nice, clever email campaign and hope and pray that you can transition someone from a denial to an approval. Well, that really doesn't work that well because when you get busy, you don't have time to go back to that 80% that are denied. So one day I was in my office and I started thinking about this. And I said, darn, 80%, that's a lot of revenue. So I came up with the Prep Your Home Loan Success Program, which is basically a spinoff of the SAT Prep, ACT Prep, MCAT Prep, to prep our prospective borrowers so we can get them pre-approved the first time around.
You're a natural presenter. You really are. I mean, you're very believable. You project really well. You have we want to listen, which, to be honest with you, a lot of people don't have. So, you're like 80%, everybody's 80% with you already. No denials there. So here's the interesting thing about this. It was always my understanding that banks always, that 80% denial, they weren't allowed to do any training or any education for that purpose because they were prohibited from that through the regulations. If you were turned down for a loan, they could refer you to somebody else externally, but they couldn't do it internally, in which case you lost that relationship with that person. And so obviously that was a long time ago. I don't know how the regulations have changed, but that was a barrier to actually doing business. Now, bankers may not have cared whether or not they did business with that 80%, but if you teach them, it could develop those long relationships. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if those barriers still exist within the banking or lending structure.
The barriers still exist. There are probably even stronger barriers now with all of the regulations from the CFPB. Because of that, I actually stepped away from the active loan officer position so that I could stand in the gap and help those people that I had to deny loans to. It was so frustrating for me, it was frustrating for them. So that's why I'm doing this, because I didn't know who to refer those 80% to, because there isn't anybody. So I said, I'm going to stand in the gap and I'm going to create a program to do that. And that's what I've done. And my ask is, number one, to get financing to take the program online to a full home study course, because this is not only a local program, this can be a national and a global program. When you think about military that are overseas, they've been there for 2 or 3 years, they're ready to come back into the housing market, they have no clue about how to get a house. So therefore, they can go right to the website, download the home study program, and they can prep themselves so that when they come over to the States, they know how to purchase a home. So that's the ask, and then also to pilot the program. The program has been in existence for about 120 days now. So,
great. So regarding the home study program, and I think it's a fantastic idea because you're absolutely right. So many people get declined for loans because they don't have their ducks in a row. And what I wanted to know is, what does your revenue or commission structure look like? Is the borrower, the ultimate borrower, going to be paying for the program, or are you working with other banks? Do they pay for the program, or what does that look like?
So currently, the borrower pays for the program. It is set up 30% fee for service, so basically a traditional marketing model, leads groups, one-on-one presentations with real estate brokers and banks. The other 70% is in the digital marketing space.
But the bankers won't pay for this.
No. Well,
Not even,
it depends.
What about community banks or credit unions or things like that?
Yeah, they may. I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm only 120 days in. But the goal is to partner with banks, real estate brokers, so that they can pick up some of the costs for their clients. So right now, the fee-for-service structure is where I'm starting.
So we know that bankers can't, they're prohibited from basically saying, if you take this class, we can certify that we can give you a loan. They'll never do that. But others can. So it'd be kind of interesting to see if you could mine that minefield and see how it works.
Don't banks have a community reinvestment obligation? Like, isn't there a fund or grants they have to give back?
We do have a Community Reinvestment Act, but it deals with being able to lend in certain geographic areas for equal opportunity lending.
Would something like this qualify as community?
Because we've already declined the borrower. We're not a credit counseling agency, so we kind of differentiate ourselves from that due to conflicts of interest.
It's a direct fee prohibits you from.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I want to understand what your marketing strategy is. Are you able to get the rejected loan application folks from one of the banks, or is it just a general marketing strategy, knowing that there's such a huge number of people out there in this boat?
So it's twofold. I have lead partners, referral partners, which are expert mortgage loan originators who will refer clients to me when they are denied. Also, I have live events, so I do boot camps, seminars, teleclasses, teleseminars, because I already have a pool of people that I've been working with just over the years that still call me. So I'm starting with them, and they've referred me people and that sort of thing. But again, it is fee for service, but the plan is to take the program online.
So one of our entrepreneurs that we've been working with recently out of the Midwest has a tool that has become very, very valuable for lenders to and for borrowers to begin to see where they stand with their financial situation, and point out very specifically. Like, you can tell somebody till you're blue in the face, or you can even show them on their financials, but when they see it in a graphic term, and they can see what are the areas they need to improve on in order to get that yes on the loan, it makes a big difference. And so we're happy to introduce you to Sam Zordich of Rystone and see whether or not there's a synergy. She's not looking at the mortgage market.
Okay.
She's looking at the small business lending market, but again, it's kind of an interesting tool that you might think about. Again, it captures a lot of data, and it also makes it easier for the lender to see very clearly, and for the borrower to see why were they rejected.
Sandra, how detailed are you going into your program? Are you actually helping your client pull the 3 credit bureaus, reviewing the credit bureaus? Why were there late payments? I mean, from a consultative approach, how detailed are you going, or are you just doing a checklist? This is what you need to have to be prepared, to be approved, to be pre-approved. So if you could just share a little bit more there.
Okay, so there are 4 components to the program: budget analysis, credit analysis, home financing, education, and document prep. Mm-hmm. So the goal of the company is to assemble A+ pre-approval package to then be submitted to the loan officer in exchange for a pre-approval letter. So because I am a loan officer, I'm licensed in Maryland, I can go through all of the data in a very confidential way because I'm regulated, so to speak. So I go through the budget, I look at bank statements, I put together the entire plan for them.
It's the whole package.
It's the whole package, yes. It's very comprehensive because it's easy, because I know what to do. It makes it very easy.
Are you also helping them in terms of their credit report?
I am.
Okay, so for example, if they have a derogatory on their credit report and they haven't fixed it, right? There is a bankruptcy that's been sitting out there for 10 years. They have to contact our credit agency to get that removed. That doesn't just fall off by itself. But the fact is, sometimes when it's on there, it may impact their credit application negatively. So are you going through that detail and counseling them and telling them exactly what needs to be done to have that removed?
I am, because I have to do that in order for them to get pre-approved, right? So I have to go through everything on the credit report. There can be no dispute. I have to go through all of that with the borrower so that when they submit their package to the loan officer, they're going to get a pre-approval. Now, keep in mind, during the education process, I let the borrower know the pre-approval letter is just the entree into the process. You still have to go through a conditional approval before you go to settlement. That is